All right, guys, welcome everybody this beautiful Friday night. This is the Charles Show where you can ask any and all questions in relation to nature, spirit, or commerce, or just any random questions at all, because it will initially and eventually fall into one of those categories, irregardless, or regardless. Apparently, irregardless is used for, you know, it's a certain saying and word that's not used in proper context, but everybody says it. So, anyway. Thank everybody for coming on. I just got done with bachata class, came straight to my office and ate 2 apples, and then hopped on here. And first time I sweated in this place too, so that was a lot of fun. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on and taking the time to be enlightened and join. John William, do you follow Brandon Joe Williams? That name actually sounds familiar, and I know you said that the symbol behind me seems kind of like satanic or whatever. I did design it to try to look cool. You know, I put like extra flares in it and stuff like that. It's not Masonic. It's not Illuminati. It's not satanic. It is just a simple diagram of the foundations of nature, spirit, and commerce, so that I could wrap my mind around it, how everything's intertwined and connected. And that's basically what I teach. If you look at my foundation videos that I have on my playlist on my profile, it explains kind of all that in depth of how, simple things like how contracts start verbally, and it's viva voce. And I even expressed this to my friend the other day. I was like, if I put my hand on your leg and you don't say anything, that's acceptance, that's silence, it's tacit acquiescence. Now, if I put my hand on your leg and you're like, stop, what are you doing? It's like that's arguing, but you could also conditionally accept, and I could say, well, I'm giving you a massage, or I thought you needed one, this, that, and the other. But it's cool little games you can play when you start learning some stuff. Healing Goddess, thank you for the heart and joining the team, much appreciated. So guys, feel free to ask any and all questions. I have a video. It is almost done. I do my best to release 1 video a week and go on live once a week. So I set this hour aside to try to help enlighten any and all. This is basically my equity class where I'm teaching one-on-one on a case-by-case basis, so you can ask any and all things, and I do my best to guide you in the best light that I can. So I have the video, and I've been working on it this whole week. And this is, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this again. This is a 12-minute video, and it basically stems, and I don't know how many of y'all have seen this or not, but I made a 3-minute video about a year ago, and it got posted in Secured Party Creditors group in their Facebook, okay? And it started costing him business because he's selling secured party creditor. And I know it's not, it's a garbage process because I've gone through it. I have a free one on my website that anybody can glance at any time. Like I paid $1,200 for it. It's on my website. It's free. You can go on it. You can look at it. You can look at all the different 24 weeks cases and everything. It's on there. So anyway, somebody was posting it. Yeah, you seen it? Healing Goddess? So I'm originally, this dude, oh my gosh, so he's selling a class, he's losing business because of the video I made daggone a year ago, and I'm making kind of a reply video, but I'm also not giving him any face. So originally I was going to be somewhat joking him and stuff. I was going to pull up on a golf cart and like try to do all this stuff, and then the funniest thing is how he continues to say that I've been studying for 20 years, and then through the entire video he's like, I've never heard that before. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, this is new. Oh, I've never heard this. And he's like, but I've been doing this for 20 years. Oh, I haven't heard that before. Oh, this is new. Oh, I haven't heard, but he's continuing to bash me and everything I've said, basically, and everything is so wrong. So the video I'm making is going to take so long because he says so much stuff that is inappropriate, improper, out of context, that I tried to knock all of it out in one video. I'm not really replying or posting to him. The only thing you're going to see is from a comment from somebody that has his name in it. But when I seen that video, oh my gosh, it's a decent looking video, but this dude spent 20 minutes just straight bashing my 3-minute video from a year ago. And it's like, yeah, I know about all this stuff. I know about accepted for value. I know about affidavit of Walker F. Todd. I know about the secured party creditor process. He basically tries to say that what I'm talking about is akin to me joking Christianity when I've never studied the Bible and stuff. So he's going off and off and off. And it's so hard to come from a place of peace and love. When I first watched it, I wanted to come at him in a kind of a different light, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to sink down to that level, okay, because this guy is just simply somebody trying to sell a product that's improper to people, and I'm costing him money. Now, I'm not selling anything. Everything that I do, I give for free of my own volition to everybody. All of my resources are free. I pay a lot of money for my website. I pay a lot of money for my Dropbox. I pay a lot of money and time and effort to get all of this information out to y'all. And you know, I do accept donations, but I'm going to be real honest with you. I average on this hour live, I'll average 50 cents. 50 cents per live is what I get for coming on here, because I'm not on here kissing the mic. I'm not twerking. I'm not like, you know, doing simple stuff that everybody likes. I'm trying to give esoteric knowledge that basically the public can't even handle, because it's a lot of assets that I'm releasing. But feel free to ask any and all questions. That's basically what this time is set aside for. I have that video. It's almost done. Gregory, thank you for the W's again. Much appreciated. I have a video. It'll probably be released tomorrow in relation to that video that I was just talking about, where the guy's just basically down talking me and bashing me the whole time and just giving false information the entire time. And then like the part that's hard on me is like in his comments, people are like, oh, I know we're on the right path because of how bad he's burning this guy that's talking. And there's other people that's like, I can't stand that guy, you know, and it's just, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then this guy has 75,000 followers on YouTube. I have posted hundreds of videos. YouTube shadow bans me so bad that when I put a video on YouTube, it will go out to 12 to 13 people max, and then it just stops. It's just dead. Like, and there's no way to get around it that I know of. So whatever I'm doing on YouTube is garbage. So, you know, I don't expect to get any good views or likes on YouTube. That's just basically a repository where I keep all my videos that I make and stuff. So, all right, let me see if there's any questions on here that I can answer. So I saw you said that you answered. So the class that he's selling is $50 a month. It's cut down, Healing Goddess. He sells it for normally it's $100 a month or something, but he marked it down to $50 a month. So it seems like you're getting a great deal. But guess what? The stuff on my website is free, and it's all the same process. Everybody teaches you the same. The bond might look a little different. There might be a little bit of different verbiage in the security agreement and all that stuff, but I highly suggest in waiting till I release this video tomorrow, because I put a lot of time in edits. Like I finished recording it, but I'm going through all the edits, and I've been working on this since Monday. Like I found out about this late Sunday. I watched the video, just a little bit of it, but my son was sleeping with me, and then I couldn't watch it until like Monday morning at like 7 in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh. My first initial response was, I was like, I cannot believe that this dude is saying so many false and inaccurate things and down talking me the whole time, while simultaneously saying Federal Reserve notes are worthless, pay me $50 a month and I will show you how to get $100 million. And sitting there saying that I've been studying for 20 years. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I've been studying for 20 years. This is the first time I've heard that. I've been studying for 20 years. I have no clue what he's saying. Like, and I'm like, this is basic foundational stuff that I'm talking about. And he downs me because I've said I've only been studying for 10 years. Now it's been 12 because it's been a year since I released that video, and it was almost a year before I started studying all that stuff. So anyway, hi from California, MAM Inc., Ma'am Inc., Mom Inc. Let's see, try to find down some questions. How much is the class? I think I answered that. I've seen his video. Yep. His university, yeah, I explained on it. Yes, SBC University. So it's simple. I was costing him money, and I'm not selling anything. I'm giving of all my stuff for free. And that is kind of why people don't want to take me seriously, is because I'm not actually selling a product or a service. It's like up to you to enlighten yourself on the path in the way that you want. Bridget, thank you so much for the roses, because I come from equity on a case-by-case basis and try to reach people the best way that they can handle it. And that's, it's scriptural, really. You can't, I have a lot of people that want me to make educational videos. They want me to make seminars. They want me to they want to sponsor me to do this stuff. But the truth is that a lot of people don't want to learn past a certain point. And everybody's case is specific and tailored to them. So there are some foundational truths, which I've laid with the foundation of light, or nature, spirit, and commerce, with the 3 lights that are on my triangle. But you start getting beyond that, and everybody's case is kind of different on certain ways. So, Mamik, is the video in your page. Not yet. I haven't released a video. I have it. I'm editing it. It's in my video editor, and I'm just like, and it is tiring. Like, I usually make a 3-minute, 4-minute video. This is a 12-minute video. This is the longest TikTok video I've made. Now, I say that, but this live recording will be on YouTube, and the audio of it will be in my Telegram group, and I have exclusive content on each of my social medias. My social medias are linked on my profile page on my website. If you go on my website, go down a little bit, you'll see all the social medias that are linked there, exclusive content in it. I have playlists to help re-educate everybody, and I also do private consultations and help everybody on a case-by-case basis as needed. Healing Goddess, thank you for the roses. Much appreciated. Let's see, is there any more questions going on down? Thanks for joining. Dang, there's so many people, it's hard to scroll through everything. Healing Goddess, the Equity One-on-One. When is it? Oh, it's right now. The Equity One-on-One is right now. Or if you want to reach out to me through private DM, if you don't want to ask any question on this semi-public venue, you can reach out to me. You can DM me. You can email me. I give free consultations and guidance all day long to everybody and anybody who reaches out. It might take me a few days because I am busy. I got 25 properties that I manage. I have 2 kids. I got an ex-baby mom. I got a girlfriend. I got like all kinds of stuff going on. I'm doing bachata class. That was actually pretty fun. And I just kind of wrapped up fixing up a house recently to get a tenant put in it for the owners. They gave me a really strict budget. Like I walked them in there. Like the first person I walked in, they're like, "Let's tear this house down," and I'm like, "No. It needs some foundation work, blah blah blah." Well, I bring the owners in. I'm like, "Look, this house is only worth $160,000. How much you want to spend on it? Because to get decent tenants in here, we're gonna have to spend some money." And they shorted me by about 30% of what I wanted to do. So I had to cut some corners and do some things to get it up and running, but I stayed a little bit up under budget until I figured out that the ice maker wasn't working. And that was a $400 thing that I found out yesterday. But anyway, it's fun. I'm busy. Like I said, I will eventually answer any and all questions. It just takes a little bit of time. There's a really weird logo on here, Unity. Most everybody else is a circle, but yours is like an oblate, like egg-looking thing. It's kind of wild. That's new. Boogeyman Jones, what are you talking about that you do? I'm just getting here, and I've never seen you before. Oh, I just like help people understand about anything about contract law, about IRS, about taxes, about the natural body and healing, about frequencies, about light, about spiritual stuff. That's the really good stuff. A lot of people don't want to hear about it or know about it. And the truth is, one of my old mentors said, you start talking about money, you'll have everybody's ears. But you start talking about spirit, everybody's going to run. So he found out a way to intermingle spirit with the commercial stuff. And then I ended up finding out that's all tied together. So it's like, it's there anyway. But it's up to you if you want to receive that kind of stuff. I can show everybody the water, but if you don't want to drink, that's up to you. But I answer basically any and all questions on a case-by-case basis, and that's how I come from Equity. Healing Goddess, no, I thought you were doing one-on-one. Oh, no, I do one-on-one, just, not on here. I've done it on here, and it doesn't work very well. If I'm ever going to have somebody join my live, I'm going to have to review them first and make sure they're somewhat etiquette and able to converse, because when I join someone on here and they're scratching their butt and they're burping, talking about frogs hopping and stuff, I can't really help people on a case-by-case basis, because then it's like, hey, buddy, I don't know, do you play video games? Because I don't know what you do with your time, and then we're just sitting here chatting. And my goal, I set aside an entire hour to come on here to help all of y'all on a case-by-case. Little Boydie, yeah, it's Yusuf L. That's the guy who basically tried to bash my name and looked very terrible doing it, but deceived everybody in the process. So I made a video, I just haven't released it. It'll probably be out tomorrow. But it's a daggone 12-minute video, and hopefully TikTok won't ban it or whatever, because it's just, I never know with them. Sometimes I'll put a video out and it'll go to 2,000 people. Sometimes it'll go to 30,000, 100,000. Or they'll just ban it for random. Like I'll have them ban it. My DTC3 video probably would have had 20 to 30,000 views, but they banned it within 17 hours. And then I appealed it, and then 10 days later they accepted the appeal, and then it goes out to 8,000 people. So I'm like, dang, I could imagine the traffic I would have had if I would not have had that ban up front on the first 17 hours. Remodel RV. I have an idea, 2 different guys I'm thinking of. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Oh, Little Bluebird. Yep. Mr. Difficult. I hate people are arguing. Yeah, it happens. It's about business. When somebody loses business, it hurts. It basically hurts. And this guy's coming from a place that gets 600 and I think it was like 6,000. Or 60,000 views or something per quarter on his website. So I'm imagining he's getting, he's losing a lot of revenue when somebody posts my truth in his in his Facebook, and he had to deal with it. That's basically what happened. The stuff that I'm releasing is the truth, and basically saying that the process is garbage, and they're posting it in his Facebook probably multiple times, and they're like, why aren't you answering this? Why aren't you dealing with it? So he's finally was like, all right, I'm going to make a video about this. And I kind of seen through the forest through the trees on that. I understand what it is. It's just costing him business. So that's why I didn't want to stoop down to his level and joke him throughout the whole thing, because I really wanted to rip his audio about him saying how long he studied, but yet he has no clue about anything I'm talking about continuously. And it's like, you've been doing this for 20 years. You don't know the simple stuff. It's crazy. All right, so I don't tread on me. I just educated a guy on here about the right to travel, MCO title, state, national. Cool, heck yeah. We're not taught any of this stuff, and it takes a while to learn a lot of the different systems that are at play, and it takes a lot of time to do baby steps. People do want to run, and you can, but it's just like riding a bike, right? If you try to ride on a bicycle and you crash, how bad's the harm going to be versus if you've never been on a motorcycle and you just try to hop on a motorcycle and crash, right? So that's basically the difference between learning this stuff and trying to take baby steps. And the sad truth about all this is I am one guy, and I do help thousands of people on a case-by-case basis. So I have learned not to hold people's hands through every single baby step. I can show you where the information is. I can give you a little guidance and nudge you like a toddler, but I'm not into doing your paperwork for you. I'm not into holding your hand through every single step because it takes way too much time. You don't understand. Watch the playlist that I've created on my profile. It will re-educate you and change your entire world if you can grasp it all, and then come back and talk to me. Then we'll be on the same level if you can grasp all this stuff. But I'm telling you, 99% of the time, I tell people to watch my playlist, and I never hear from them again. And it's just so I've created this little generic thing that's like, hey, thanks for reaching out. I'm here to serve you. Just watch the playlist and circle back. And then I never hear from them again or they'll come back and ask me questions that are in my playlist. I'm like, man, watch this video since you don't want to put in the effort. Healing Goddess. I have all his videos for years. I still ain't do it. It's too much crap and too many agencies. Yeah, I've heard of other people that have gone through it, and it's not right. But I'm telling you, I've gone through it. Y'all can go on my website right now and go through the SPC process for free that I paid $1,200 for 9 years ago. It's on a 24-week class. It is free for any and all to view. Okay, but I'm telling you and warning you. It's a fruitless, other than you will learn stuff, about how to do administrative procedures and about postal codes and certain things. I mean, I'm not going to say you won't learn. I've learned from everything. I've learned from almost everybody. You can't come at this world thinking that you know anything. I know nothing. I always try to take a neutral position on things, but when I've done the study and the research and the time, I'll take a position, and that's basically what my video is about. Is actually most of it's just straight knowledge from sources. So I'm basically, this guy's just coming off the hip bashing and all that stuff, and I'm just going to show him all the sources. So boom, here's everything. But I don't know, again, if the video will get banned, if it'll go up to 2,000, or if it'll go to 30,000. I don't know. So it just is what it is. But anyway, Boogeyman Jones, can you tell me what you do, please? Oh yeah, you already answered that. I want to share some information. Absolutely, you can reach out to me, Ma'am Inc. You can DM me. You can join my Telegram group and reach me through there. You can call me, email me, and those are basically all the ways to get a hold of me. Gregory Global, can you help me understanding about mortgage offset for a recent deceased relative? So I will tell you, and this is from every person that has ever taught me, that mortgage is a death grip and is one of the hardest things to overcome. And they're even like, when they're doing the classes on what to do and how to handle stuff, they're like, be prepared to lose your house because it is like a crap show. It's just complete garbage. But the best way of teaching that I know of is to not have any default on a mortgage, right? So you're paying your mortgage, and then you start to acquire the true title over it. And I actually talked to a guy who did a patent search and then tried to record the patent in the county. This isn't what I teach. This is just what he did. and the county basically said you're going to have the lawyer sue us if you want this recorded, because it basically would have kicked them off, and you'd been able to tell them I'm not paying taxes anymore or whatever. But my understanding is you need to do a grantee acceptance on the original grant deed or land patent. As long as it's not encumbered by any mineral rights or anything like that, you can do a grantee acceptance on it from the king. You need to make sure there's no heirs or successors that it was originally granted to that can take control over it. You need to reach out to any of those, make sure you do diligence that there's no heirs or successors, do a grantee acceptance on it, record it, make sure there's no liens or encumbrances on it, which is a mortgage, unfortunately, even though they're operating on a colorable title. But then you can tell them to kick rocks. You can record it and say, basically, this is my title now. I'm not paying taxes anymore. Go kick rocks. So anyway, Mama Inc. My name is Cecilia Monroe. Okay, Cecilia, thank you. You can email, you can DM me. I will accept. I accept requests for DMs all the time, and I answer questions all the time in my DM inbox. Like, sometimes it gets crazy. If I would have released the video that I wanted to today, my inbox would have been a lot more flooded. And that's another reason why I only release one video a week, is because sometimes it'll go out to 30,000 people, and then I have to talk to thousands of people and help them on a case-by-case basis. And it takes a while. Casey Surgeon, well, thank you for not being money. Yeah, I'm not money driven. I'm not at all. That's not my master. My master is basically the spiritual, and we're all in this together. We're all one. We're different parts of the same body. We're all fractals of the Creator, and enlightening y'all is enlightening me and helping me. And my true gratification is not the 50 cents per live that I earn. It is funny to me on a sense, because it's hard not to look at everything on a material, monetary type system, but it's fun. I even joke with my friends. I'm like, yo, look, I made 30 cents this live for an hour. I'm like, ooh, just joking around, because I'm not really money driven, but it is kind of funny. Anyway, I would go broke, y'all, if I was trying to make. I'd be able to maybe get a French fry if I needed it. All right, so Gregory Global, yes, I need to know about this as well. My father passed away. Yeah, y'all can reach out to me, and I can definitely DM you and give you some more guidance. I can also tag you in a video of a guy that did pretty well on understanding how to get true title of a home. You know what I'm saying? But it's very expensive, especially when there's encumbrances and liens on it and mortgages and stuff like that. You got to have it all paid off. And then I also have audio on my my website for free that can also help you. If you go in my Commerce Home folder, there is documentation and audio files that can help you as well for any of those processes. Mamik, okay, can't wait to watch your video. What's your Telegram? All of my social media is linked on my website. My website is linked on my profile page of TikTok. If you go on there, you can join my Telegram group, my YouTube. You can see my TikTok, obviously, and Twitter, and I think that's kind of it. But yeah, my handle's the same on everything. It's Cha Rules, and basically I have exclusive content on everything. And unless you subscribe to me, the only way you'll know that I'm going live or when is if you're in my Telegram group. I tell everybody I'm going live in 15-20 minutes. 95% of the time I'll hop on there. But I do take a few days to answer my telegrams too, because I had to delete it from my phone because it was taking up 10 gigabytes or megabytes or something. Like, I couldn't do nothing. It was murdering my phone. Because I had so many groups and so much information on it that it was just murdering all the data on my phone. Telegram, yeah. Gregory Global Jam, Boogeyman Jones, sorry. Denise, thanks for joining the team. Much appreciated for the heart. Thank you. Your gifts will be used to help others by promoting educational videos to enlighten and help me to pay for some of the stuff that I'm using to give y'all, free information, like a website and Dropbox and all that stuff. And stuff's actually expensive per year, believe it or not. All right, Boogeyman Jones. Thank you. I miss him, but I'm happy. Yeah, when you lose somebody, it's so hard, but they do kind of live on through your consciousness and thoughts and memories, and that's the spiritual realm. Thank you, everybody, for all the gifts. For real, I don't know if I missed anybody. Or Denise, I think you might have sent me some more. Thank you for the roses. All right, this thing just jumped. I don't know if I missed a question. Hold on. Also in real estate, dealing with a rental property. Jimmy B. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all end up talking to each other because I get so far behind. I really need to have a court pay telegram. Can you please new here? Never so. All right. Really need to have a court pay me for the time spent locked up and want a case. Oh yeah, you can definitely do that. There's a certain amount of monetary value that you can seek remuneration on, depending on what the charge was and how long you've been. There are caps on some of that stuff, depending on what you were found innocent from, or But there's definitely a way to get basically paid for being unjustly or improperly locked up. Healing Goddess, I got you. Awareness. Can you speak about the tabernacle and its connection to body, mind, and spirit? Absolutely. So our body is the true temple, And when you look at the Bible, I'm sorry guys, I'm very firmly founded on the King James Bible, okay? I studied it for years inside of a jail cell, and I wanted to learn more about the Quran and all that stuff, but I really just kind of focused on the Bible, and it became unlocked to me, and I know a lot about it, and it has a natural, a spiritual, and a commercial interpretation to it, and that's basically what was revealed to me. Not knowing that I'd end up making this triangle through fruition. I learned about all the lights and all that later. But anyway, in the Bible, it explains the most holiest of place is basically the temple, which is your body is the temple. And if you look in the Old Testament, and they have drawings of it, the outer skin is the skin of your body. And where they do sacrifices is basically you're supposed to sacrifice your body, because in the book of Hebrews it says that they sacrificed animals year after year, and it basically didn't really cleanse them of sins. He said that the burnt offerings weren't pleasing to him. But it also says that when you do things according to the code, the bound by the written law, you'll be judged by the written law, and everybody loves being bound by the written law. So anyway, the tabernacle, the most holy place, when you express the contract of unity with the creators, you're basically starting to minister, because all of the ministers in the most holy place are all the angels that do all the different works, okay? And the most holy, which is basically your spiritual union body, when you've expressed contract with the Holy Spirit, which is holy means separate from the world. So when you express the contract of unity with the creators and you receive a spirit that is separate and whole and complete and different from this world, that's when the veil rips in the temple of the most holy place, and you're able to start ministering and starting your walk to become more closer with the creators. This is what Enoch went through when he translated from his natural body into the next realm. This is what a lot of the monks do when they do the 7 days and get all the chakras in alignment, and they translate from the flesh, because the natural temporary realm is what binds everybody and keeps all of the animals in lock. But that's where our natural body is tied with the animals, and we're supposed to sacrifice it daily to reach the garden, which is in our cerebellum, where the cherubim are, the holy seat, which is in our brain, and meet the Creator, which is where we're all one with Him, and it's just it's a very unique allegory, but it's all expressed in the Hebrews book of the temple. And it's also outlined in the Old Testament. You can read that too, about how the temple is set up. And funny side note, well, not funny, but the Levites, the third day, the third walk, the book of Levites, the book of law, when they started to become the ministers of the tent, they had no other job other than ministering to the tent. So they were supposed to take 1/10 of all of the tithes from all the different tribes to get money, because that was their only job, was ministering to the tent and the people, and the only way they could get money was taking money from the people. So they would receive tithes from everybody, and that was their payment, basically their job. Everybody else had a craft and a skill and a job out there, but the people that were ministering the tent, that was how they made income. All right, Mama C, the 3 most important pillars in life. Nature, spirit, and commerce? I would say so. And then you in the middle with love in the creators and fire is a very, very important foundation to grasp as well, because love is all law, and when we get into this commercial stuff, when we start trying to learn billions of codes and policies and statutes, that's why I like equity, that's why I like love, that's why I like coming from peace, because everything is summed up so easily. Who's Pepe Frog? Is there a Pepe Frog on here? Jimmy B? Supremacy Clause, Read and Weep, Jurisprudence, the Handbook of Equity. Yeah, I think I have that on my website for free as well. If not, I'm downloading stuff all the time and putting it on my website. I'm updating all the time. Guys, this live will be on YouTube if you want to recap. The video of it the audio will be in my Telegram group. I have exclusive content on all my social medias. Please feel free to join any of them. All my stuff is free. I give free consultations. You can email me, DM me, call me. I help people all the time on a case-by-case basis. I have playlists on my profile to help re-educate you. Please spend some time to go through that if you want to start interacting and learn what I teach, because a lot of times I get people coming to me saying, hey, how do I do this CFR stamp on this remittance? And I'm like, I don't teach any of that. I don't know who who you learn that from, but you need to go to them, because I don't teach CFR stamps for remittances or certain things. I teach about trust and equity and love and peace, and I also teach about how the courts operate, how IRS operates, how the tax system works, how we're all sovereign because we are all fractals of the Creator. And I get toe to toe with people all the time that challenge me and want to say, oh, we're not sovereign, oh, we're not this, that, and like, yes, we are. On a daily, second-by-second basis, you get to decide the outcome of your life through the contracts and the energy that you put out and make every single second. There is nothing dictating to you how to control your life other than what you can put out. And what's cool is when you go through the 7-day walk and you're able to start binding everything in nature, spirit, and commerce, and land, air, and water, you are basically one with the creators, and you are basically shaping your reality second by second, because you're able to basically govern everything. You grasp all of the different laws, all the different jurisdictions, and they all come through you in love and embodiment with the creators in peace and harmony in the middle. It's like a balancing act in a sense. Jimmy, oh yeah, so Casey, wow, there's a way. Oh wow, again, looping, Jimmy B, I like the Pepe. I don't know who Pepe is. Healing Goddess. Well, dealing with these rental properties, there is so many discrepancies in the lease and changes. Oh, really? Do you? I can definitely help you. Oh, did we talk a while back about that? Is that where we were talking about somebody had some mold issues and stuff? Boogeyman. Sorry, like I said, I deal with so many people, and everybody changes their handles, and they have a different name on Telegram, different one on YouTube, different one on TikTok. Different, it's hard to just remember everybody. Casey, also in real estate. Yep. Healing Goddess, does rental companies securitize the tenant's account? When you start getting really the mortgages that are all bundled together and sold on a big, large level, like they get rid of the original securities and they sell them. That's the mortgage obligation, CMO, which is a collateralized mortgage obligation and stuff. They basically bundle them all. The banks bundle them all and then sell them to third parties. And that's why if you ever ask for the original wedding signature, or you go to them and you say, who signed the back of this promissory note, because the CFO has to sign the back of the promissory note in order to deposit it with the Federal Reserve or to monetize your signature. The CFO is actually the liable party on that instrument, and you can definitely call them out on that stuff, but they end up just basically copying the original, because it's basically as good as gold. When you give them a promissory note with your signature, a signature is really the main thing that has all of the authority and all of the underwriting and power on a contract. And but they do have new digital signing laws and stuff like that. But when you sign, the bank wants you to sign in blue ink, and then on after you do the promissory note, on the back, the CFO has to sign it in order to monetize it, because he's the liable party for the debt obligation. And then they turn around and define your U.S. citizen as a debtor, and then we all agree to it. And then we basically leave with the promotional item or the house or whatever, and then we start paying on it, and we basically consummated that contract. It's just like a marriage. And I almost put that in my other video, but I'm like, it's already 12 minutes long. I didn't want to go on a 20-minute, 30-minute video. I might put it on another one, but it's just like a marriage. If you marry a girl and y'all don't bang, that's grounds for divorce. Well, the same thing when you go through a bank and if you don't start paying on it, that's grounds for divorce. Or you miss a payment, that's grounds for divorce. And they start doing the contractual obligations that was set forth before closing or before you got the quote-unquote loan. And I actually explain in my new video how even on the affidavit of Walker F. Todd, even though on the record he explains that our signatures create an asset on the books and the banks never loan us money, the guy still lost that case. And I'm like, this is crazy that you could actually have a federal, basically a Federal Reserve banking witness, attorney, express on the record that our signatures create an asset on the books that the banks monetized and there was no money loaned. And this guy still lost the case. And I'm like, dang, if I had a professional, board of directors or Federal Reserve board member, attorney guy, expressing stuff like that in my case, and I still lost, oh my gosh, you can only imagine. Thank you for the fingers, L. White, much appreciated. Gifts will be used to help others. Does room all right? B, sounds like we talking about Yusuf. Yeah, we were earlier. Yeah, I'm actually glad all y'all have caught that, because I am going to be releasing a video in regards to him, down talking about my 3-minute video from a year ago that I guess is costing him some money. Yeah, Yusuf, he looks like he's all right. All he needs is that money. Absolutely. Boogie with what definitions? What in the world are you talking about, Casey? Be off people dime. Fourth on my phone. Facts 100. They don't learn anything. Yeah. Remodel VA. Yep. Got to do the work and research or you won't know it. Absolutely. You got to know thine enemy. And, honestly, it's just people that have established all this stuff and corporate greed that basically keeps everybody in lock. And it's just a facade. It's just like the Wizard of Oz, when you get to the end and you can pull back the curtain and see who's pulling the strings and all that. And the whole time you had the courage, you had the heart, you had the brains, but you have to go through a process to even come. And what's funny? I just realized that's what happened to me. I studied for 7 years, and then I found out that I was sovereign the whole time. I tried to take the U.S. citizen out of control of the state. I tried to dock it. I tried to lean it up. I tried to do all that stupid secured party creditor stuff. And then I came to basically realize that I'm not that entity. It's just a tool. I can dock it. I don't have to use it. I can create another one that's just like it. It's just, it's up to you because you're the sovereign. You have the unlimited ability to contract however you want. All right, Boogeyman Jones, what definition's on there? Thanks for the sharing of the live. Lee Daniel, Healing Goddess, right? Wow. Corleanne, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know nothing. Yeah, same here. I'm just a student. We're all in this together. We're basically in a unified conscious of body trying to raise and elevate our standards and our frequency, together. And that's why I love teaching inequity and giving them my own volition for free and basically love and light because we're all in this together. And basically reflecting off of y'all is reflecting off of me. I'm edifying myself by helping y'all. And that's, I told somebody this the other day that there was somebody who took mushrooms or something and it unlocked a part of their brain and they were like, oh my gosh, I can finally see the craziest thing. We're all one. Like, I don't know what it unlocked in their brain, but they actually did a TikTok video where they're they cried because they couldn't believe that we're all one in this. Like, there's no, even though in the natural light, we're all tied together in the natural light, but it looks like we're separate, even though we're all in one body together. And they were just like, it was so beautiful, it's crazy, I couldn't believe we were all one, and I was like, that's so cool. But I mean, I don't really, condone dosing that much till you're tripping balls, but, I think that is cool that she was able to have that realization. Healing Goddess, I'll make sure it gets out. Oh, I appreciate it. Heck yeah. So I'll be dropping on YouTube. I'll be dropping this live on YouTube, Little Birdie. I'll be dropping all of my videos go on YouTube. YouTube shadow bans and suppresses the dog mess out of me. I mean, I'm catching it from TikTok, but nowhere near as bad as YouTube. I put a video on YouTube, it will go out to 13 people. One view a day. If I'm lucky. And it's like, oh, thanks. And I'll go on there, I'll be like, cool, it's been 5 days, I got one view. And out of the 10 views, it's like, I got one like. I'm like, yeah, woohoo, I'm so glad. I really just use YouTube as a repository for all my videos for backup and stuff. And it basically ties into my playlist, too. If you go through the link on my website, the playlists are linked to the YouTube. All right, Healing. Is the note and mortgage still together? No, so they're separate. It's a separate process because they monetize the note, and then on the mortgage they turn around as a private agreement. That's where they turn around and call the U.S. citizen the debtor. Okay, so it's like they do a flim-flam bait and switch on that. You create the asset on the note, on the promissory note, and then they turn around with a new contract and say you are the debtor borrower. They quote unquote you're the borrower when they're not getting you any money. When your signature is really what paid for the house to get rid of the debt obligation to begin with anyway, because you gave them an asset, and then they start fractionalizing it. So it's like it's just a crazy game. But we're not taught any of this stuff. We're not taught about taxes in school. We're not taught about banking. We're not taught about frequency. We're not taught about healing because they want us to be basically capital creating minions that work until we're 65 and then we're too old to enjoy anything. We're just more of a liability, and they want us to just go in a coffin and lay on the side until we're expired. It's like, all right, Grandpa, here's your cane. Go over here and sit in the corner until, and look at flowers now that you're no longer a good use to making money out there in the field because it's all about corporate interest and corporate greed at the end of the day. Healing Goddess, is the note no already? So click claim deed. Yep. Mama Inc. I want to share with you that for 2 years I have been part of an association that is doing. Okay. Thank you. Healing Goddess, I found 8 land patents that belong to my 4th, 6th. Oh, that's cool. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, did you go through the Bureau of Land Management? Mama C, thank you so much for acknowledging my comment. I'm sorry it takes so long, Mama C. It just, it takes a little while sometimes because I go on these little rants. And there's a lot of people on here asking questions. So Healing Goddess, how can I do them in order? Any success to getting property off the tax rolls? So I know of people that have done it. I've talked to Indians. I've learned from a bunch of my mentors and stuff. There are people that have gotten true controlling allodial title of their land. I haven't done it to mine. My house is actually in a trust I'm the manager of an LLC. And that was way before I learned all this stuff. And in order to even get my house out of that LLC, it's so locked that I would have to offer it up first to the other members. And there's 13 of them. And one of them would probably buy it. But by the contractual obligations of the LLC that is federally registered with the county, it says that if I want to take that house out of that trust, first I have to offer it to all the other members. And my house is pretty dope, so somebody would probably take it. Anyway, any success on, all right, be cool. Can't you just settle the debt for a house, car, etc. with a negotiable instrument? Yes, you can, be cold, but you have to go through a banking agent because they have been authorized by Congress since the Emergency War Powers Act has been enacted since 1933 to basically be a converting agent. So they're authorized. We're not authorized to do certain things. We are the authorized representative and underwriter of the U.S. citizen, but the U.S. citizen is not allowed, even though it is quote-unquote classified as a bank, and each bank is classified as a citizen of where their home office is located. But you also have to know what a U.S. citizen can and can't engage in. For instance, a U.S. citizen can't make a bond that I know of. The only bond that I've ever seen somebody make, they got it through. All 11 or 14 points was perfect, but they still had the IRS come on them and start a federal case investigation. And even in the case, they couldn't find any defect in the instrument, but they still threw them in jail because the judge was like, it's people like you that cause problems with all this, wish-wash, blah, blah, blah. And basically, a trick that they use is they say that if you don't take this deal, we'll come after your entire family with litigation and tie them up in federal court for the next 15 years, every single member of your family. So it's like, dang, do I want my entire family to spend the rest of their life fighting courts, or do I just want to take this deal? So that's one of the things that they do to get you in a headlock. Anyway, thanks for the sharing of the live. Mama C, mortgage-backed security notes, even if you sold or lost your property to foreclose. Okay. Healing Goddess, I'm dealing with these rental properties. There is so many discrepancies in the lease and the changes. And you can call the landlord out on some of that stuff, or the owners, depending on, a lot of them just use blanketed terms for a lot of stuff, and they have to use certain language where it's like reasonable attorney costs, because you can't just say, you're responsible for attorney's costs, because then an attorney could charge $50,000, and it's like, no, you have to say reasonable attorney costs, and so little things like that. But a lot of property managers just use blanketed copy and paste stuff, and they just change the name, date, and amount, and security deposit, and stuff like that, and then they roll with it. I try to do my best to go through all my lease agreements with a fine-tooth comb to try to catch any glitches and stuff like that, but it just takes time. Dang, I'm already up to 13,000 likes, and I've only been on here for 45 minutes. Feel free to ask any and all questions, guys. I'm trying to get to you to the bottom. I'm way behind. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. Maybe I won't be able to answer everybody's questions. All right, so where are we at? I'm dealing with these rental company. Hypothetically speaking, can a traveler be stopped, dragged out of the car, and harmed? Pinched nerve. Yes, if they are considered a belligerent enemy, because during times of war, which the United States have been in a perpetual state of emergency since 1933, all U.S. citizens are classified as enemies, and if they are engaged in any hostility or belligerency, which I kind of explain in my next video, then they are considered to not have any rights. The Constitution is suspended and all that. That's why you always got to come for peace and harmony and understand everything. Now, if you were infringed upon and actually harmed, then you have recourse and remedy. Don't ever think that you don't have a remedy. If your rights were infringed, you can enforce your position. And I try not to tell everybody that, but even if you're trying to make up stuff, you can still enforce it. But that's why I try to basically teach people on a case-by-case to see if they can handle certain things, because a lot of the stuff that I teach is very powerful, and you can't give machine guns to toddlers because it's just not very good news, a good idea. I would not want my son today, he told me that, I told him that the half of the cookie was for his mom, not to eat it. And he looks at me and says, "I'm gonna bash your skull open and take her cookie." And he was looking at me like Charles Manson. I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "That's not really a healthy way to get a cookie, dude." I'm like, "I don't know what you're watching on YouTube, but daggone." Hairline shoulder fracture, original excuse for stopping with speeding. So it really depends. Like I said, during times of war, and we're not taught all these little nuances, but during times of war, they are allowed to inspect and engage any traffic, that especially if they assume they're engaged in enemy activities. Like if your car is registered, it's controlled by the state. If the U.S. citizen has a license, they're operating commercially pretty much. And then you come in, and a lot of people, when they start learning this knowledge, they're like, I'm above the law. I don't have to identify myself. I'm going to crack my window just enough so that the cop can put his eyelashes through, and then I'm just going to be very disrespectful. I'm going to say no, this, that, and the other. And that's not how you want to treat your public servants at all. Now, if you're smuggling drugs or you have prozzies in the back or whatever, then, I mean, you're on your own on that point. But as long as you're coming from peace and love and harmony, you really shouldn't be getting dragged out of a car or harmed at all. Because, I mean, honestly, I did watch there's a video called, and it's actually a pretty good movie. I think it's called something Ridge, where the biker was hit by a cop, and he goes through this whole process. It's a whole deal where the cops were really crooked. The whole county was crooked. Now, I'm not saying that cops aren't crooked, but that's why they're bonded and insured to hold that public office. But they've also sworn an oath to uphold that public bankrupt system. So the public bankrupt system keeps everybody in lock. And you got to understand these little things if you're going to try to talk to your servants. So basically, you're the king. You're the one that asks the questions. But you need to come from peace and love and harmony. But if you're driving a registered car and you have a license and you refuse to identify yourself, the cops' job and duty, first and foremost, is for the public. They're trying to make sure you're not engaged in stuff that could harm the public. Are you moving 6,000 tons of nitrogen to create some arms ammunition? They want to know. That's their duty and obligation. If you want to travel without a license, you need to get a DOT number. You need to express on every single jurisdiction and let them give them notice what you're doing. You have to have true controlling title of your car. You have to, not be engaged in enemy activity like Federal Reserve notes and carry real gold and silver on you and stuff like that, and basically do your due diligence. If you're not going to do all that, then the cops, they have a right to inspect during times of war to make sure you're not engaged in enemy activities. Healing Goddess. I read that these companies can trade securities in private without informing the SEC. It depends on what kind of security it is, but they are typically federally registered, and the SEC does come down on people that are doing stuff like that, any of the security frauds. Boogeyman, I have seen the Geneva Bible, and I have read some of it. But I'll tell you what the truth is you got to go back to its origins, which is the Hebrew. And I actually use a Bible online that I think it's called Bible Hub or something. Let me see. What is it called? Bible Hub. And I have a parallel that has all the Hebrew words, word for word. I can look at each word side by side. And that's the best way that I can express, not to use... It is kind of a King James translation, but it has the Hebrew words, and then it tries to express the English and stuff. But that's what I suggest. And back when I was in jail, I was using a concordance, and oh my gosh, I have so much writing on my Bible. If I pull that thing out, years and years of studying. All right, this thing probably jumped, and I probably missed so many questions. Guys, this just ends up being me just freaking rambling on here. Now, I like coming on at night because there's so many more people and so much more interaction, but dang, I don't even know if I can handle it. There's just so much. How do you get a court to operate in equity, Tammy? Is you basically need to invoke it. You need to make sure that there's nobody behind you. You need to basically bring in your own law, and you need to take control of the court. And you need to let the judge know that you know what time it is if you're going to be trying to take control of the court, because his first and foremost duty is to the public. And if you start coming in there talking about assets, taking control of the court, the U.S. citizen, this, that, and the other, he's going to be very angry because he doesn't want any of the sleep sheep to catch any words of what you're talking about, because it's a balanced system that he's sworn an oath to uphold. And if you start telling everybody all this stuff, first of all, he's going to put you in a Feretta hearing. He's going to hold you in contempt and all that, because you have to move it to a private setting. You basically have to say, is it wise to talk about private assets in the public like this, stuff like that. And I have that in my videos if you watch them. Issued but disorderly conduct, was taken to hospital or scene, burns, hands, knees. Dang, I'm sorry, be a goddess. PSA, valid driver's license, and was identified, dragged out for saying no contract 3 times out. Yeah, that's what ends up happening when they're trying to inspect and people don't allow them, and you haven't done your due diligence. So you're operating state's car. Now, I'm not saying that you can't win in court, right? I'm just trying to say this is how it operates. This is how it works. You're driving a state's car. You just showed them that you're an enemy that was licensed, which is permission to an enemy to do something illegal by having a license. And then you said what? No contract 3 times out loud. And basically the minions down at the bottom of every um, compartmentalized department has no clue about any of this stuff. Those cops on a low level, they're not taught about contract law. They don't know about offer and acceptance. They don't know about the U.S. jurisdiction or the republic. They don't know about traveling without a license. Well, some of them do, because you can pull out that that one guy who basically explained that there's people that are operating that are not under contract, and they're not obligated to engage with certain entities that are there to enforce things. I can't remember who wrote it, but I think it was a sheriff or something. He put that in bulletin post notice. This is when people first started learning that you could travel without a license, and they were revoking all their licenses and contracts and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, you gotta be careful when you're interfacing. Like, I have these interfacing programs that are in my website on my class folder and stuff. Explains and expresses how to be a sovereign. Like, especially if you listen to my court operations, sovereign in booking, it'll basically explain to you how to maintain your own and basically ask questions the entire time. And this is how you're supposed to deal with your public servants, because they are your servants. Even they're taught in reverse, but at the end of the day, they are your public servants, and you can basically get them to do your bidding on a high level. How do you get a court operator? I already answered that. Healing Goddess, the doctrine of the lesser magistrate, a proper resistance to tyranny, and the repudiation of limiting obedience to civil government. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard about that. I kind of want to copy and paste that. The doctrine of lesser magistrate, a proper resistance to tyranny, and a repudiation of limited obedience to civil government. I don't know if unlimited obedience to civil government. That sounds like an interesting read. I have not read that. No. Tap that screen, guys. Likes. Thank you, Mama Inc. Healing Goddess. No, sir. Elite Daniels. Follow each other. Ribbit. Jimmy, what is going on with y'all with this frog, yo? I'm lost with this Pepe frog. Because Jimmy, you always on some frog stuff. Jimmy B. Ribbit. I learned that these electric companies do the same with the consumer accounts. Yeah, when you start dealing in the private, I mean, even every CFO at a corporation can deal in the private and the public, because they have to balance the books. Every asset offsets with the liabilities, They're actually they're the only officer. I mean, there's 3 officers that combine a corporation and contractual obligations. You got the CFO, you got the CEO, and you have the CFO. And then basically the CFO is the only one, though, that can toggle between public and private, because they have that authority with the financial institutions and stuff like that. Mama, you can CSIM your promissory note. We're doing it in California. That's cool. I never heard of a CSIM. I don't know what that is. Coral, Leanne, all those big corporations do it. Yep. Yeah, they all bundle and securitize things for underwriting. And if you watch my DTC video, that's how people get funding for things. Corporations, they go through the DTC and they basically get a bond created up for investors, and then they get funding. Or sorry, they get units, after the things are sold. Healing, when I get to a dealership to purchase a car, if I do a special endorsement without recourse, I don't teach that. I know people that have had federal agents come and showing up to their door real quick when you start doing that stuff. Just kind of depends on, you can get them in a default through private administrative procedure. I teach that. I don't teach about trying to do an endorsement or certain any tax forms unless you have an agreement. You have to have an agreement. Everything that I've taught and everything that I know, if you're going to start messing around with tax forms, you have to have an agreement, which is the substance behind the form, before you start doing anything. Healing Goddess, I love to buy a car. Is that possible? If so, show me and I'll go tomorrow. That's funny. Affirm the word of TMH. What is TMH? Healing Goddess, may I learn on your plan? Shrooms. Jimmy, man, you're wild, dude. This still a way to fund a trust with negotiable instruments and use. Yeah, you can basically use anything for the corpus. It doesn't have to be a Federal Reserve note. When you're making trusts, you don't have to basically invoke any of the corporate states' laws or anything. But what's cool about having a is it a statutory trust where you can invoke any jurisdiction you want? You can say it's going to be any arbitration is going to be in Texas. This contract is going to be governed by Idaho, and this, that, and other. You can basically call sections of each contract to be in a statutory trust, can be handled in any jurisdiction you want. You can be like, this clause is going to be handled in Mississippi. This one's going to be in Delaware. You could do that. Now that's pretty cool about contract law. Goddess, I watched a video that talked about changing your will heal you from the inside. He did all kind of changing your will. You talking about like your thoughts, your resonance? Healing Goddess. He does retreat for 7 days and test people's blood and their brain waves before 7 days. He says it's biological change in the body just by slowing your mind and bringing the energy to your heart, and it completely changed their molecular structure and their body started healing. Oh, that's awesome. So that sounds a lot like this documentary I watched called Heal, and I think it's on Netflix. And it basically describes how everybody, if you have something hurting you or harming you, you can basically imagine it getting fixed, putting all your energy. Like one person said they imagine like tiny little robots going in there and trying to fix everything, and you can start healing your body. You know, our bodies are perfect hospitals, but the truth is that we're constantly eating garbage. Even though I'm vegan and I try to do holistic alkaline stuff that has like the least amount of pesticides and herbicides, it still has garbage all in it. I mean, the fruits and vegetables, and I don't know if it's just me, y'all, but I thought I remember apples being a lot bigger when I was a kid, and now I look at them and these things. And I know I'm 6'3" almost, but still, I don't remember them being as small as freaking tennis or ping pong balls. I remember them being a lot bigger, and everything's just small and it's just missing and lacking in nutrients. So I take a lot of minerals. And if you can put your body in a good state, you can heal yourself very well. And that's what this documentary Heal is talking about, where you basically can focus your energy and put yourself into a relaxed, peaceful state. And you can come. And I also watched another documentary on people that are around Wi-Fi. And they show where it's basically bad for your blood. And then if you go grounding, and it basically will uncoagulate all your blood and allow it to flow and roll much easier. So the Wi-Fi will clot all your stuff together, and then if you go and ground, it'll help basically release all your blood and allow it to flow much better. L. White, how do you deal with the indentured trustee? Yeah, so I have a documentary on how, not a documentary, I have a video on how that's misinformation with an indentured trustee. The true indentured trustee is if you're going through a back office banking and you're bringing in massive amounts of money and dealing in the, certain things in the asset side. But other than that, if you're doing it in the public, you have to spend a lot of money to get a trustee, and they have to accept it from a bank. Check out Eon. He's the truth. I have seen some of his videos, Healing Goddess. I just I have a lot on my plate, and then like somebody will send me a video. I mean, just watching videos that people send me in DM just takes forever. And then like people will send me a video and it's an hour long on YouTube or 2 hours long. And I used to have time like that. I really did. When I started studying all this, I could watch a 3-hour video. I did watch a 5-hour interview about 7 months ago, and it took me almost a month to watch it. But I did watch it. It was very worthwhile. That's where my public education video came from, where I found out the creators of the public school system are basically pretty twisted. Oh my gosh, I have so many questions I need to answer. I need to just stop talking. I mean, how can I answer without talking? All right, where are we at? This thing jumped so far. Oh my gosh. I think I'm getting back. I earn your plan is separate. Okay, here we go. The Order of Violet Flame is. Oh, I've heard of that too. And there's another guy, Christina. Thank you for the heart puff. Much appreciated, sweetheart. Thank you. Who's the guy that comes from talking about all the different chakras? It's like embodiment celestial. Like, I love that guy. I actually reached out to him because he's got a library too, and I was like, I wanted to collab with him a little bit because I love his come from and his knowledge. It's just amazing, and it was pretty cool. NI works just fine. Do it correctly. Yes, I've done it. In Louisiana, in my parish, they have on the clerk's website for lost note, cancel a mortgage. Interesting. Healing Goddess, thank you for the sent friendship necklace. Cool. It's tiny font. I'm trying to read this stuff. My website is Anointed New Foundation of Peace. If you're talking to me, Order of Violet Flame. But I'm pretty sure you've been on there, man. We've been chatting for daggone. It feels like years. Healing Goddess, the Order of Violet Flame in his bio. LOL, my lessons I do are like 20 pages. Oh, you teach stuff too, Jimmy? L. White, Healing Goddess, the charges, they charge me a month, and they forge the lease me and my husband signed separately. Sometimes some of them places, like when you go to get a car, you have to sign a basically power of attorney, and you give them a special power of attorney to shop around and get different questions. You go in there and they're like, hey, yeah, I got a buddy that works at a bank, and he's like, actually, I got a whole bunch of buddies, and I want to shop around, so you got to sign this, give me a limited power of attorney and stuff. And they can do all kinds of things if you don't read everything. It depends on what you give them the authority to do. Because basically, for all intents and purposes, when you grant someone the power, general power of attorney, they can do almost anything as you. That's what happens when you go in court. And I think the funniest whole thing of the whole charade is when you have an attorney representing you in court, is that they can throw you under the bus and fleece you, and they're not liable for any of the basic debt obligations or any of the charges or any time or anything. They can just slander your name, throw you under the bus, and then just walk away. And then they're not liable for anything. I would love to have an attorney represent me that is actually liable to the full extent of anything that the U.S. citizen ends up getting charged with. I think that would be funny. Healing got us. They added our names one on top of each other. Wow. Yeah, that sounds like you can definitely. Fraud is kind of hard to prove, but you can always wave that flag, and there's no statute of limitations of that stuff. Yeah, it's not good. L. White. How do we deal with indentured trust? You already answered that. How can you justify a magistrate and an amount when suing for loss of rights? So it's up to you how much money, especially if you're dealing with somebody else's fiat currency, that you want to put a fee schedule to for your loss. And it depends on what the loss was. It also depends on what their bonds can handle. You don't want to go after a cop for flicking a booger on you for $280 billion. It's just not reasonable. Same thing with doing a private administrative procedure. You can't say that I want you to take a scoop of ice cream and scrape it across the sun's surface before it melts, and this, that, and the other, or I'm taking your house. Like stuff you can't say stuff like that. It just doesn't work. Thanks for tapping the screen, saying so much, Mama. You're positioning yourself up to be a moderator on here, homegirl. L. White, shadow banning, absolutely, all the time. Trademark name and give notice of interest with fee schedule. Yeah, you can do that kind of stuff, and it's all about what's enforceable, because some of those paths are old school technology, but some of the old school stuff does work, and it's all about what you can prove and enforce. And the truth is that the legal fiction name, the U.S. citizen, was created by the state. They get to control and dictate it, and then you come in there and try to say, oh, it's a different entity and stuff like that, and you can go into some issues. Michelangelo. How can you lawfully get out of paying property taxes? Well, it depends on what you are paying with and what are you paying taxes for. So are you using Federal Reserve notes that was created by somebody else? Are you engaged in for-profit in a federal zone? Is the property, do you have true controlling title over it? All those things play in this mix. L. White, how to deal with indentured trust. I explained that earlier. Guys, if you want to listen to a recap the video will be on my YouTube group. The audio will be in my Telegram group. Feel free to browse through all my playlists on my profile page of TikTok. I have playlists to help re-educate you. You can DM me, you can email me, you can call me, you can write me. I also have a lot of auxiliary information on my website that is for free, and you can just browse around all you want on that, including all my social medias, which are linked on my website. All right, guys, let's see. Healing Goddess. I found the security agreement for Mercedes GMC. Wow, that's pretty cool. Are those you talking about for collateralized security agreements and stuff, where they bundle them together? Or are you talking about for making bonds? Let's see. Healing Goddess. It's better to get all your ducks in order before you try it. Oh, absolutely. And I learned this a long time ago. If for instance, if you're trying to do a national passport, and you get it wrong the first time, your goose is cooked. You've got to get it through and do it right the first time. Same thing if you're messing around with the DTC or any of this stuff. If you do something wrong, if the wrong T isn't crossed or the right I doesn't look right, that's one of the reasons why I didn't go through it, because I don't. The closest person I know to had to sign an NDA, and he's dead. And so I don't have anybody to talk to one-on-one that knows about all this private banking and assets and securities and stuff. Because if I try to go through it and I'm way off on something, I'm done. You're done. Your goose is cooked. So you got to be careful when you start this stuff. Judge Dale is the one who wrote that. Always agree with your adversary. Yep, no controversy. I can send it to you. The companies are securitizing accounts of the private. Yep, absolutely. Mama C claim. Yep. Healing got us. Not tax forms, only pay to the order without recourse according to UCC. I have seen some of that stuff, but you also got to be kind of careful Can you still find trust fund? Absolutely. You can use anything as the corpus of the initial trust res, right? Or race. Some people say race, but it just depends on what it is and if you hold true controlling title of it. If you don't hold true controlling title of it and there's like a lien on it or something, then there's underlying strings and attachments to it. And if you try to put it in a trust, for instance, if you try to put your house in a trust and it's got a mortgage on it and it's got a tax lien, it's registered, and you don't pay taxes, even though it's in a trust, that the liens are going to supersede and they can still take their property because it's not your property. So whenever you put property in a trust, you want to make sure you have true controlling title of it. Healing Goddess, he said, whenever you think of negative things, your mind is always in a stress. Yeah, and that's so hard to get out of that. That's exactly what this documentary Heal talks about. I don't know if you've ever Healing Goddess. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, but I highly suggest it. Even though Dr. Sebi has some slight racial undertones, I always tell people to look up Dr. Sebi in the documentary called Heal, and it's like those are some good foundations to grow from when trying to get your body right, because we're not like these super billionaires that have these med beds that have all these acoustic things that can heal any and all things and make us younger and have our blood flow and all that stuff like that. Now, I do have a plumber friend that was looking at buying one of those compression chambers, which is supposed to allow oxygen to flow through your whole body. It's basically a decompression chamber, and apparently basketball player excuse me, this is why I only go in here for an hour, because my throat can't handle it. Basketball players have this kind of stuff, like LeBron James. He was like, this is the one LeBron James got, and it's basically a decompression chamber that basically compresses you and allows oxygen to get through all these little places that normally couldn't. And he was looking at it because he went through a stroke, and he was doing it through a hospital, and it helped him out so much that he wanted to get his own. And that's so he actually tried it, tested it, and it worked. Healing. The apples tasted better. To all the fruits taste better. Yes. And there's another guy called Dr. Emoto who did a study on water, and just basically the energy and thoughts of what he would put on it would change drastically when he froze them. So if he put like love on the glass when he froze it, it would be all beautiful and stuff. If he put like hate on it, it would be all fractal and looking crazy and stuff. So that's why it's very important. I always, to the best of my ability, whenever I'm eating, I give thanks. I don't say it out loud. I say it in my spiritual body, in my living word. I say it in my temple. I give thanks for it, for all the living water that's in it, to extract any and all impurities and stuff like that, and give thanks for all the people that were involved in making it, the earth and all that stuff. And it basically, it resonates. It's just giving out good energy and vibes and stuff. He said basically you go into a place of nothing. Oh, I love that. I can do that with my mind. Like I've talked to people and they say they can't shut their mind off, but I'm like able to do it all the time. I can just think of nothing instantly, just immediately, just absolutely nothing, like a void. But a lot of people can't do that. Michelangelo, how can you lawfully get out of paying tax? I already answered that. I watched David Windmiller's 9-hour webinar 4 times. Oh, he is awesome. I love David Windmiller. He is phenomenal. Christina, is the guy for meditation Silva Jose? Oh, I don't know. Tamia Allen, downloaded YouTube captions, put these in ChatGPT and have it summarized and ask save hours. What in the world? You talking about my video? Like, I don't know how to download YouTube captions. I tried to put in captions and it said I had to type it. Like, when I'm not really good. I'm more flagrant with TikTok, because I've been putting TikTok videos out for years, and then I go on YouTube just to try to branch out a little bit with a little bit of time that I have in my spare. And I tried to post stuff, and it's like you want to do closed captions? Start typing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not typing for this hour-long TikTok video live that I recorded all the words. But I have had people transcribe them before. No, but that's like I do this every week, so it's like an endless thing. The lease is what he signed separate. We can definitely talk, Healing Goddess. Christina, lawyers are for children. Yes, imbeciles. Yes, that's absolutely right. They represent imbeciles and wards of the court. Healing Goddess, but you are right. When I finally got a SIPE of my contract for my car and I read it fully. Okay. Fraud, Section B of Civil 60, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Absolutely, Jimmy. Apple user, hey, how do I win a city ordinance citation? I mean, you can put it in trust. You got to pick your battles, absolutely. But you can always do a grantee acceptance, turn around as the grantor and create a trust and send it to the CFOs, the clerk of courts, for set-off settlement and closure, and that's enforceable and you'll win. That's one way. That's one of the one of the hundreds way. I'm actually glad that you mentioned that because I parked near something that said 30-minute parking. It said no parking, 30-minute parking, and then I got a ticket, and I actually do need to handle that. And I was going to take a picture of it because all I did was I went and got coffee. I pulled up and the traffic clerk or whatever was writing citations for the two vehicles in front of me, and then she walked off, and I'm like, I'm good. I mean, even the sign says no parking, 30-minute minimum, which is kind of confusing. So I'm actually gonna go there and talk to him. And then I go get coffee, come back, and I got a ticket, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna take it to the traffic people and just kind of talk to them and be like, why does it say no parking but 30-minute minimum? And I was only there for 10 minutes. All right, L. Whitty. How to sign a contract without being liable to avoid their trickery. There's so many different ways. It depends on what contract and what you're trying to do and what position you want to take. You can always put it in trust, and you can take the position and appoint trustees to handle your business. Mama C, more than happy. Tap, tap, tap. Family 50K. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it that high, but I am at 24,000, which is a pretty high rate here. Without recourse. Yep, I heard that's one way to do an endorsement. That's stuff I learned a very, very long time ago. Typically, you want to do private priority when you're dealing in equity. So, Copper Moonshine, step by step. Yeah, I have that on my website. I didn't use his method. I just put a notation on my passport. Here, bundle contracts together. Yeah, they sell them to investors. That's how it all works. It's all smoke and mirrors. MJB111, can you still fund your trust with 20? Yes, you can. Yo, Jay Chris, what's up? Jamaica, they are not recording my POA in their system, but I wrote email the acting CEO. Is that doing a private administrative procedure? So if you're trying to get a private administrative process in the works, the CEO can bind that corporation into contractual obligations, and if you've got him notice and you basically said you need to respond in an affidavit form sworn to under penalty of perjury on a case-by-case basis, and you must respond to an affidavit form within 15 days, and you send it through a notary and stuff like that, as you can start establishing a record to get them in tacit acquiescence. That's basically how you do a private administrative procedure. Henley got us. I have 24 karat gold and 99 pure silver Trump banknotes with face value of Bill and Mill. Can I fund the trust? Yeah, you can put that in a trust as an initial raise corpus, depending on, So a trust, an express trust, has 5 indicia. You have to express all 3 of the parties, a trustee, a beneficiary, and the grantor. It has to have property and a purpose. That's it. That's it. And then from there, you can have 20 billion pages, or you can have 1. It's up to you how in depth you want to go with it. For an express one, do an abatement on the ordinance. Supremacy. A right cannot be licensed. Yes, that's isn't that in the Constitution? And turned into a license or something. A right cannot be licensed. Supremacy. There is no such thing as a license to practice law. Yep, I believe it. Did I make it to the bottom? I made it to the bottom, guys. And I'm getting ready to wrap up again. The recap of this live will be on YouTube. You can listen to the audio in my Telegram group. Feel free to DM me. I answer questions all day long on a case-by-case basis. I will answer all. It just takes a little while sometimes, but you can chat in my Telegram group. You can reach out to me on TikTok. You can email me. You can call me. You can do all that stuff. So, Jay Chris, how are you, brother? I'm good. I'm really good. I'm glad that you came on here. Thank you guys so much. I'm getting ready to wrap up. I appreciate you. Whew, this is going to be an interesting live to listen to. Thank you so much for the heart and joining the team. Quantum what? Your name's short there. Quantum something. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I will be dropping an interesting video tomorrow. It's just taking a long time to edit it because it's super long. And thank you for joining the team, Christina, Gregory. Thank you for the GG. Thank all you guys. Your gifts will be used to help others. I really hope that y'all enjoy your weekend and take time to just relax and meditate like we were talking about earlier, because it's all about frequencies. Try not to come from a place of negativity. Always try to think positively, and your whole world will change. You can change your life through the contracts you keep and the energy that you put out on a day-by-day basis. So I appreciate you guys. Reach out. I love you. I will definitely be in contact and answering any and all questions. So y'all have a great weekend.